One of the most valuable things I own is a tri-leveler. This is made by Camco. You just simply drive up on it, 1, 2, 3 levels. You can get about 4 inches, 4.5 inches. And you think, look at these things, this is junk, but it is not. These are superb. These work. I have a 1-ton van loaded fairly heavy. Try and get close. You can see how potted this is. I park in the desert on rocks, in the forest, and I've had these for 3 years now. And when I'm done, like in the desert, I'll have to pull the rocks out. They get embedded. They are super tough. Incredibly, they are very cheap. These are now $13 on Amazon. I'm going to put a link to everything you see here in the description. Go to the description. Now let me full confession, disclosure, that they are affiliate links. I will make a little bit of money on anything you buy with that link. If you go to look at this and buy something else, I'll still make a little bit of money. It won't cost you anything, but you'll be supporting me. And I just think that's a really good deal. So I have 2 of these I always carry. I drive up on them easily. On the front wheel, I can look down and actually see them when I go up on them. But this is the way to go. And for $13, it's just an incredible deal. Now, the next thing I'm going to recommend is a Azo Dye water pump. I have found this to be tremendously helpful. It's an excellent water pump. It uses D batteries. You've probably seen them. I've demonstrated this numerous times before. You don't need me to tell you any more about it. But I really highly recommend this. It's gone up. Let me see. What was this? I think it was up to 30 bucks. I think it's up to 30 bucks. It went up. But it's still, this is going to be something you really love to have. Now, when it gets hot, you're going to really want a fan. And this is a Road Pro fan. You can buy these at almost any truck stop. I think they're on sale really often. Once a month or so they go on sale. They're 12 volt. You just plug them in. They will also have a D battery. You can run them on D batteries back here. I've been very happy with these Road Pro fans. But you can get this from Amazon. It's expensive on Amazon. I think it's 40 bucks on Amazon. But you can get it on sale at truck stops for less. Really highly recommend these. They're tough, they're durable, they don't draw much. I've just been really, really happy with that. When it's cold, on the other hand, I'm going to really recommend a pair of these. These are they're down booties. These are not down. These are a down alternative. They're Baffin. The company name is Baffin. I bought them from Amazon. I love these things. I just can't tell you, your floor is always going to be cold. On every van I've ever been in, the floor has been cold. And these have just held up. They've got a really tough skid. You can walk on these outside. You know, you're not going to go for a hike in them, you'll tear them up, but just a quick trip outside, no problem. Here's why I love these. Now, everyone has slippers. You can go to Walmart and buy a $5 pair of slippers. These are like 40. Here's what's the difference. These don't make my feet sweat, and I don't understand that, but my feet do not sweat in these. Any pair of slippers I've ever owned, I wear them, my feet sweat, my feet are then wet, they're cold. Even with the slippers on, they're cold. And as soon as I take the slippers off, they're really cold because now my feet are wet. So I can't recommend these enough. If it's cold out, this is really what I think you should really want to have. Something else I recommend is an Arizona map. This is a Benchmark Atlas. Now it's the whole state. Let me show you the back here. You can see the whole state of Arizona is broken down by squares and pages, and it's very good detail. Let's take a look at this page right here. On this page you see everything is color-coded. Blue is state land, purple is military land, green right here is national forest. This is a city, and I just really love these. Something else I really highly recommend, I have loved myself. This is a Wilson Sleek, and it's a amplifier. It amplifies cell signals, so I use this all the time on my cell phone. If I'm at a marginal just outside of where I can get a good signal, this amplifies it greatly. I've seen it go often from from 1 bar to 5 bars, or I've even seen it go from no bars. Nobody around me is getting any signal, and I'll use this and I will get 2, 3, 4 completely usable bars of 4G. This is a tremendous tool. You use, it's a cradle. The phone sits inside here. This is set for my MiFi jetpack, which fits here perfectly. You can put different arms on it, so if you have a big fat smartphone, you can get bigger arms. It will fit in there. And it comes with a little 4-inch magnetic antenna which screws in. That works surprisingly well, really well. But there's a better way to make it work, and I have a video on this. You'll see all this stuff in another video. This is a directional antenna, and my goodness, this works so well. You have to buy the cable. That's a great buy. See how big and heavy that cable is, and it screws into here, and it comes out, and you have to get a couple of adapters, and now it will screw. I'm not going to take the time to do it, but it will screw into here. It's going to be some money. Wilson Electronics changed their names. I don't know why. And now this is called the Weboost on Amazon. It's expensive. It's 180 bucks. This is about 60. The cable is probably going to be 30 or 40. You need at least 1 adapter. I'll put all this in the links in the description. But if it's absolutely critical, you get connected. If you have a job, if you're working, if you run websites like I do, this is the answer. A lot of people want to cook with electricity, and you just simply can't unless you have a lot of solar. Not many of us do. If you have 500 watts of solar, 4 batteries, you can cook with electricity. You can use a microwave, an induction oven, possibly a hot plate, but not for very long. But the only practical way to cook with solar is one of these. This is a Road Pro stove oven, and boy, it works well. You know, it looks like a toy, doesn't it? You look at this thing and you think that's just a toy. It's 12 volt. I'll show you here in a minute. And it's got a container receptacle here. You put this in, you plug it in. You can buy these and use these. They fit perfectly. Personally, I just line this with aluminum foil and then throw it away, so it's cheaper. Use heavy-duty aluminum foil, a couple linings, and that's what I do. But some people want to spend the money on these. It works surprisingly well. I have baked brownies, I've baked cookies, I've made cornbread, I've made meatloaf, I tell you what's great is chili dogs. You're driving down the road, you plug this into your car while you're on the route, and put a can of chili in here and a couple of hot dogs, and you got great chili dogs. You gotta warm that up 30, 45 minutes. Because it uses a 12 volt plug, just a standard old cigarette lighter plug, it has a very limited draw. You know, these are fused usually at 5 or 10 amps, so it draws next to nothing. If you have solar, I have enough solar, I can just run this off my solar. But even if you don't, and you're just driving, you say you're going to drive an hour, you put your food in here, plug this in, and by the time you get to your location, you've got a cooked meal. So this is an extremely handy, practical device. I just can't recommend this enough. I've been very, very pleased with these. It's Road Pro. You can get it at Amazon. I'll put a link in. Most you can get it nearly every truck stop, and they go on sale often at truck stops. So I really like this. So talking about cooking, another thing I really like is a Coleman camp stove. Coleman has been making these for decades, and I really like them. And it's small enough that you probably can find room for it, and you can honestly bake in here. Almost anything you can bake in your oven, you can bake or cook in your oven, you can cook in here. It's like 40 bucks on Amazon. Well, I'll go ahead and do some of it for you so you can at least get an idea. And it'll take me a minute to get it all assembled, but look how simple that is. And then that sits on top of the stove, the burner, directly. And there's a lid, and I'm not going to try and put the lid on. It'll take me a few minutes to get it done. And it has a door and a thermometer. That's the top. I would normally have that up on top, but I'm not going to take the time now. But I really like these, and they're cheap and practical, and you have an oven, and it folds away nicely when you don't need it. Again, this is not essential. If you don't have the money, don't bother with this, or space. But if you do, these are nice. A lot of us are just using you know, 1 gallon jugs, milk jugs that we're recycling for water. And some people get the big 5 gallon, 6 gallon jugs, the Reliance jugs. I tell you, this is the one I like, and it used to be you could get it anywhere. This has actually got water in it, so it's a little heavy. But this is by far my preferred water method. Why? Because 5 gallons of water is 40 pounds, and 3 gallons of water is 3/8, 24 pounds. You can pick this up. If you have an RV and you got to pour this in, holding 40 pounds like this is not much fun. It's a whole lot easier with a smaller container. This is easier to find a home for in your car or in your van. If you have a van, it'll go under your bed. It'll tuck into corners. It's easily tucked away. And you could find these anywhere, but now I have been looking in stores and I haven't seen one in a long, long time. So you really almost have to get these from Amazon. $14 from Amazon. Again, I'll have a link in the description. One of the things I really like, most vans are pretty tall. I like a step. And this is one of the best I've ever tried. It folds down to nothing. It's about $14, just like that. And they're nearly indestructible. I've driven over them and had them survive. Not usually. Usually when I drive over them, they're destroyed. But I have had it happen. And so, you know, that's just really strong, really easy to handle. Again, that's about, they really vary. I'm sure there's only one Chinese company that makes them all, and they really vary from like $10 to $15. One more thing I want to show you that I dearly love, and that is my Adco windshield cover. If you have a van, Adco has been making, they're specifically made for vans, but for RVs, but most RVs, Class Cs, have a van nose. So they say they're for RVs, but really any van can use them. I've just got a standard 2001 Chevy Express van, and you can get an Adco cover, windshield cover, for nearly any rig. Let me show you, let me turn you around because it's over here and I'm trying to hide out of the wind. Let me get that for you. So this is the Adco windshield cover. It's designed for each van. You can see some of the older models are generic. This is a 2001 Chevy, and this one is not generic. It's designed only for the 2001 Chevy. You can see they have a cutout here for the mirror. So it's actually designed with this V in it so that you close up and around the mirror. But it just has a little, here's a magnet. You can hear it grab. Here, I just pull it away. It has a little thing that goes on here for both sides, and then it slips over the door, goes on, and goes down there. Now, one of the things I recommend for you is more magnets. I'm a big fan of magnets. These are ceramic. A lot of you are going to write in and say, "Oh no, don't buy ceramic magnets. Buy the super duper whooper exotic metals." I really despise those things. I won't buy one and own one. These are far preferable to my mind. I like ceramic magnets. And if you need to with a real wind, you can just pull it down. I'll even use a couple of them. That's a lot of magnetism. And I can use, there's 3, and that will hold it down all the better. What I'll really try and do is put them up there. In this side is we're on the leeward side of the wind, so there's not much wind here. But I love this thing. And what you can't, well, maybe you can see if I open the door. Well, you can't because I gotta open that, take that off there. So it'll stretch. You can't really tell, I know, but the sun shines through this. It's not completely dark. So in other words, during the day, you're completely private, but also you get some light in there, and I really like that. Some people, a lot of people, nearly everyone, uses reflectix on the inside of the window. I think these are 1,000 times better. The heat never gets inside. With this here, the heat's kept out. It never gets inside the van. With reflectix, the heat goes through the windshield and you're trying to keep it contained at the windshield. It's in the van. You've already let it in. And so it's going to get around that reflectix and flow around and get into the van. This will keep your van much cooler and give you some light, whereas the reflectix just makes your rig dark. And who wants to be in the middle of the day and dark? So I just really love these things. I've held them, they hold up really well against the wind. They hold up really well against the sun, the UV rays from the sun. That's very destructive. They vary from, the cheapest one is 35. I think the most expensive one I saw was 60. They're really pretty cheap. You can buy them for any model of van since in the 1980s. But they're really common and really easy. And just, I'll have a link to the Adco page on my in the description. And I just think this is one of those things you're going to want to get. Now, also one more thing about to deal with heat is you got to get your windows open and get ventilation. But what are you going to do about the bugs? Well, it's winter, so I don't have my I couldn't find my my windscreens that I've made, so I'm just going to describe it for you. I think you'll understand. So what I do, and I have just went down to Home Depot and bought standard fiberglass screen netting, and you cut it about 2 inches wide from the window, and this, you know, an outline, and then you put duct tape around the outside because otherwise it'll unravel and it'll scratch you. And so you duct tape around the whole outside, and then how do you mount it? So of course you got the window rolled down. How do you mount it? With just, that's why I have these. So I'll have it up here. I'll just put one here because you just got a piece of duct tape bent over, and these go right through duct tape. One here, one here. I've got like 30 of them that I keep around, and I do the whole window on this side and that side. Now that works super well, and it gives you a lot of ventilation. What you don't get is no-see-ums come right through. And some places I'm at where their no-see-ums are really bad. So I'm going to recommend you buy both kinds of netting, just a regular standard mosquito netting and no-see-um netting. So when the no-see-ums come out, you'll still be okay. You won't be swamped and eaten by a mosquito. But the no-see-um netting is so fine, it really kind of blocks the ventilation. So you don't want to always use it. So I would just recommend you have both. I will put up a link to no-see-um netting in the description. So another thing you could buy that is not essential at all here at Christmas time or any year round is one of my t-shirts. Yes, I'm selling t-shirts. Of course I am. Everyone is, aren't they? You can get them at Amazon.com. They are print on demand. You order it, they print it, and they ship it to you. So it's ordered through Amazon, you pay through Amazon. If you have a return, you get it, you don't like it, it goes back to Amazon. 100% Amazon product. To find my t-shirts, go to Amazon. In the search bar, type in cheap RV living, and you'll go to my store, my little store there, and you'll see multiple designs. I have a blog post about them and a video about them. You can go to either place, look for my t-shirts, and you can find them there. Just go to Amazon, type in cheap RV living. You'll see all the colors, all the sizes, and all the designs, multiple designs. This is just the one. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate your viewership. It means a lot to me. And like us on YouTube and subscribe to the channel, and tell your friends on social media that there is a different way to live, and I want to tell you all about it. My stuff's flapping because it's windy. Okay, see you later.